Good morning, good afternoon. It's Dave Henderson, Mayor of the City of Brockville on brocknews.ca City View. And this is the September / going into October, but September edition 2010, and we are heading into election time. And I've been told not to wear the election candidate hat, so I won't talk about all those wonderful things that I have done and current council has done, and those beautiful things we've made the city into, and those wonderful controls for budgetary processes, because they did ask me not to talk about those types of things. But let's talk about general things. And general things would be the election. We have 23 candidates for council, and we have 5 candidates for mayor. And I take a little credit for that because I spoke out on a couple of big issues. And that stirred a lot of things up because some people disagreed with it and some people agreed with it. And I spoke out about the MDC and some concerns about it specifically and about costs. And this is good because you know what? It's a big project and we should have debate on it and people should know what the risks and benefits are. And that's what's going to happen in this process. You're going to have candidates who are going to push the benefits and some candidates that will discuss the possible liability and the risks. And that will make for a good process. End of the day, we've got 23 candidates running for office out there trying to get your vote, trying to tell you who they are, what they believe in, and asking you what you think. And that's what this process is supposed to be about. Interestingly enough, when we dumped the ward system last time around, 4 years ago, we dumped the ward system, and the biggest concern at the time was you will not get anybody to run in a system without wards. Well, this time around, we have more people running, and that is a better way to be. So it's interesting to see that argument fall down because I was one of the proponents to go without the ward system, and this is the kind of result. You get a good election. So that's one thing moving forward. And the other big issue that's still on the plate, and here's what happens when we start going into election, we have this thing called lame duck. That's the technical term for during the election period, some councils, depending on how many, and it's a very convoluted ruling, but depending on how many people are running for office, cannot make certain very large decisions. The real thing is that in election time, it's very hard to have a good discussion or a good debate on some very large issues if you're just putting them on the table, because everybody's in election mode, and it's not the best way to have a good discussion. So generally you don't get a lot of big discussions. But we do have one big item that's moving through the system, coming up to the tail end of it. That's our official plan process. Now the reason this is still in the system is because this current council has been dealing with this for almost 3 years. 3 years, a $200,000 budget for consultants and staff to put this plan in place, get the public consultation, have the debate, and move it forward. And right now there's an official plan meeting coming up, a statutory meeting on Wednesday nights, tomorrow night. And some people are concerned that we're rushing this and that maybe we should put it off to the new council. I guess my only comments, and I've talked to the Citizens Brockville group about this, and I said I just don't agree with that simply because it's this council's responsibility. This council, the current council, has attended the meetings, gone through the processes, given direction, and voted on various issues up to this point. And it's not a rush to keep proceeding step by step. If it doesn't happen before the election, fine. But you should not put it off because you think that for some reason a new council should be deciding this issue. That's not the case. The current council has dealt with this over a long period of time, and they have a responsibility to keep dealing with it and to debate it and move it forward. So, well, we'll see on Wednesday night how that discussion goes. Because we'll have more input on it Wednesday night, and we'll have 1 or 2 more sessions, maybe more, on it as we go forward. But it's the official plan process, and that is probably the last big issue on the table for the current council. Then we go into election, and we see what the new council will be, and there might be some changes this time. With so many people running, you'd have to bet that there'd be more changes than usual. So that's interesting. Good for the system, good for the city of Brockville. Those are the big issues for right now. We're finishing the summer. People are back to school. The weather is finally cooling down a little bit. It's been a great summer. That's Dave Henderson from brocknews.ca City View, and signing off. And perhaps one more until the election, and then hopefully another 4 years. Thanks. Bye now.